Hi, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Plus Mochi. I'm Christy.
And I'm Maddie.
We're your favorite sisters in law. Each week, we introduce you and each other to new things we love and bond over the internet. So, Maddie, how's your week been?
It's been good. It's been a good week. I did a lot of TV watching this week, I would say, probably an abnormal amount. I will finish off The Untamed. That was really, really good. Um, the ending was not what I was expecting. It was really, well, it wasn't really different, but it was different enough that I was annoyed. Last 4 minutes, I hated it. I was ranting to my friend, how dare they do it this way? And then the last 30 seconds, I was like, huh? What just happened? And then it ended. So I
In a
have
good
mixed
way or
feelings.
no?
I don't know. I'm confused. I went on Reddit to look up like people's opinions, and it sounds like it was okay, but like I don't know. They try to change a lot because of laws in China, so I'm just gonna
Oh,
accept
okay.
it. Yeah,
That's
and
interesting.
yeah, it was just crazy, and it's okay. It's just how it is. And then I don't know if anyone's been watching or had watched previously, but Dollface came out. Um, and I'm obsessed with Dollface. I watched it with all of my friends when we were up in college together, and when I it was released, I texted all of them and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And so we were freaking out over it, and we're down episode 8
Are you
because
guys watching it together
no, we're all
right
so
now?
busy, so it's like not really we're not capable of doing that. But like my friend was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm just starting, but so when it's over, we need to talk about it." So we'll talk about it. It's cute though because during it, I just thought of my friends. Like during specific parts, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that reminds me of this friend," or "Oh my gosh, that reminds me of that friend." So it's pretty cute, and I love that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw the first season of Dollface and I barely remember what it's about. What's kind of the premise of it?
So that one is definitely about friends. Pretty much, this one girl, Jules, I believe, she her boyfriend breaks up with her, and then she kind of realizes she doesn't have any friends because she's like put all of her whole focus onto this relationship that just ended. And so the first season is just mainly her getting her girlfriends back, learning how to like be a part of the girl world, I guess, with girls because she's never been like a girly girl, and she's not a girly girl at all, but just kind of like realizing that you need friends to have like other than your relationship.
Now I remember. Thanks for that. I don't remember when the first season came out, but yeah, it was long ago enough that it's like wiped from my memory. But yeah, I loved that show. Now that you say that, I definitely want to finish the first season and get into the second. So far you're on episode 8. And you said it's pretty good.
It's not as good as the first season, but it's still pretty good. I like it. There's still like scenes where it has the same vibe, but you know when a season is like sometimes when a show does another season, it's not as good as the first season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then they're
Hmm.
like they get a bit hyped about everything. It's still good though. Like I still really like it. It's just I don't know. I'm not at the end, so maybe the end is gonna make me like, oh my gosh, I really really love it. But I'm just not there yet. And then also last another thing that I did watch, I finished this week was the Book of Boba Fett. That was really really good. I don't know if you finished it. Did you watch it with Justin?
I watched some of it. Yeah,
Oh,
I saw the episode from last week that I'm pretty sure everybody was going crazy about with Grogu training. That was pretty cool.
yeah,
So the last episode was this week.
yeah, and it was really really good. Loved it. It okay. I don't want to get into it too much, but I felt like the whole entire series was only good because of the Mandalorian and Grogu and
Mm.
the Luke cameo. Like that was pretty much the only reason that I liked it, and I liked the
And the
ending because of
Ahsoka
that too. Oh, of course,
cameo,
Ahsoka. Oh my
right?
gosh, she's literally my favorite Star Wars character. Like I cannot believe I just forgot about her. Like in that
You
one
don't
second,
even know. She's my
crazy.
next cosplay for sure.
Oh, she's literally. Ugh, I actually want to get her lightsabers, the ones that are at Disneyland.
Oh, they have them? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they do. I remember when they came out, I was like, oh, I need to go. But then because of life, I was a bit nervous about going there because of all the crowds. But definitely, I would love to get those lightsabers. The only other lightsaber I have is Mace Windu's, but because it was the closest color to pink that they had.
Mm.
Actually, it's the one that Justin gave me
I mean, it's supposed to
when
be purple, but
I know, but at the time it was like the only color besides blue or green. So like
Mhm.
Justin was like, it's kind of. He bought it for me with his first job that he when he worked at KB Toys. That money he bought me that lightsaber. So it was like
Aw.
when I was like 7 or 8, he bought me that lightsaber. I still have it, and it's like an official one. It has Lucasfilm on it, engraved on it and stuff. It's really nice.
Do you have it displayed somewhere in your room?
Oh yeah, it's right next to my bed actually. No one can see it though. I,
That's
I guess it's
awesome.
not displayed, but if I needed to like protect myself, I could hit someone with a lightsaber for sure.
Yeah, that's true. They come in handy.
But yeah,
Not that
so
I've
if you
had to
guys
use one or anything, but I'm just saying.
but if you guys like want to hear a better in-depth review, because I definitely do not do reviews, check out Mighty Nerd Bros. That is my brother and Christy's husband's YouTube channel.
If you're into nerdy news and all and the like, then that's gonna be your place.
Anyways, Christy, how was your week?
My week is good. This week I actually it's kind of an older album, but I did want to tell you about it because I know that you do a lot of studying and when you do have to make really long drives, I always like having an arsenal of albums that I can listen to from start to finish. And my latest is by Samia. She's a relatively new artist. My understanding is that she doesn't have too much stuff out, but she has this album that she released in 2020 called The Baby. And if you like artists like Beach House, then you're going to be really into Samia. This album just features echoey vocals, just beautiful harmonies, and she has kind of a country feel in some of her songs, where there's just these guitar riffs that sound very much like Casey Musgraves. So if you're into that kind of thing, then I would highly recommend. Again, that's Samia. Is that her name weird? That's Samia, and the album is called Baby. So I was listening to that on loop for the last week.
Oh my gosh, Christy, now that you're mentioning music, I can't believe I didn't mention this in my like when I was talking a little bit ago. Something big, like really, really, really big for me happened this week, and I totally forgot about. We talked about it, but I'm so surprised I forgot to mention it. Big Bang, they announced, well, YG Entertainment, their company, announced that they are going to be releasing their next album this spring, and I freaked out. Big Bang was the first K-pop group I ever listened to. I remember on the drive, my friend was like, "What do you want to listen to?" And I was like, "You know what? Show me some of your K-pop stuff you like." She showed me Big Bang, and I fell in love with them. I truly,
Mm.
truly love them. Can literally, I just know their whole entire albums, and I just love them so much. So I'm just so excited. I don't know if you can tell. I'm so pumped
I
about them
can tell if
coming.
you guys could see
Amazing.
her face. Maddie is ear to ear talking about this. I love that this is happening too, because last week we were talking about how sad it was that they were not going to be at Coachella because what was it in 2020? They were supposed to be, and then it got canceled, and then
Yep.
now they're not on the bill, but maybe they're going to be there next year.
So excited. I literally was listening to old YouTube videos of them like at different I can't even think of the word, different like TV shows in South Korea and just them like having fun. And I was like, I used to watch this forever ago and now I'm gonna rewatch it. People on YouTube were like commenting, "Who's here after hearing about the announcement?" And I was like, yeah, we're here. I'm just super excited. I'm a very, very big fan. Um, I did not get to go to their like concert before they all went to the military when they were touring here. So I'm just so pumped for them to come back. 100% I will be at the concerts. 100% I would even go to South Korea or Japan even to go to concerts because I love the concerts in Japan. So I'm just like waiting. I'm ready for it to be announced so I can go.
Hey, and if you need somebody to help you buy the tickets, I can be an extra computer and an extra phone, just like with my finger on the cursor, just ready to get you
Thank
some
you so
tickets if you need
much.
it.
But
I
yeah,
will
I
do what
hope
I can.
I hope some of you guys are also big fans. And I hope you guys are just as excited.
I'm pretty excited too because it's funny. I am not a huge K-pop fan. The only K-pop bands that I am aware of or that I listen to are the ones that you've introduced me to. So them, obviously, Winner, obviously Blackpink, which I believe everybody knows about,
Yeah.
and I think that's it. Those are
Yeah.
the three ones that I think you showed me.
Yeah, I know. I've only shown you like one entertainment agency of K-pop groups, so I probably need to
That's all
expand.
YG.
It's all YG Entertainment.
Well then, Maddie, I think we're gonna need to have a listening party soon, so you can show me some new bands.
I don't know. I used to torture you guys like a couple of years ago. I'd go to their house and I'd only let them listen to K-pop music, and it'd be the same songs over
On
and over again.
loop. Oh my gosh, that's so yeah, I enjoyed it up to a certain extent. After maybe the second hour, I was like, maybe we should
It
switch to
wasn't that
something
bad.
else. Yeah. What's something, you know what? Now that you remind me, I need to find something to torture you with. So now my mind is working and I'm going to be making notes of things. So the next time we're together, I'm going to be like, you know what, Maddie, we should watch this. And yes, I'm already planning it.
One other tangent I just want to go on is that while you were giving birth, a new song by Winner came out. I believe it was So So, or it was the album, and that was just like the main song that I loved. And your sister and Brandon, they were both actually in the waiting room that day because I was up at school, and I was making them listen to it, and they were making fun of me, but it was amazing.
That's so terrible because I'm pretty sure you guys were waiting there for hours in the waiting room.
I wasn't. I was just at school, but yeah, I made them listen to it. I was like, "You guys have to listen to it while you're waiting."
Wait, so you were doing this remotely?
Yes, 100%. I was like, "Hey, you guys need to listen to this while you guys are waiting."
It's hilarious.
Hey, at least I didn't make you listen to it while you were giving birth.
I don't think you could have made me do much of anything while trying while I was giving birth, but
I'd have been
yeah.
calling you, Christy, Christy, listen to this.
I feel like ready. No, honestly, I could have used some extra songs on my playlist. I made a playlist. I had a whole plan of like, oh, this is gonna be my birthing, my list, my tracks for birthing, and then that ran out. That whole playlist ran out after about like an hour and a half, and then I was just getting annoyed because Justin was drinking soda and eating food, and I was just literally crunching ice and hating the world. So, yeah,
So, how long would you
next
recommend
time.
then to make your playlist?
I would recommend making it at least, this is impossible, but I would recommend making it at least 10 hours because there was a lot of, for me personally, there was a lot of time where we were just waiting to for things to start going. So it was a lot of just like sitting around and stuff. But yeah, we were there for 4 days. Even a 10-hour playlist, I would have been like, why are we listening to this for the fourth time? But yeah. But however long you can make it, I recommend just keep adding songs. The minute you find out you're pregnant, just start adding songs.
Good advice.
But yeah. Okay, so one of the things I did want to talk about was my fitness progress. I last week I was mentioning that I was going to be having an off weekend, and so I just kind of want to peel back the curtain a little bit and it's just reveal to you guys that this is actually my off weekend. So by the time you guys hear this, it would have been last weekend. But I am very excited. I had pizza tonight. I am planning. I have a list of meals that I want to eat throughout the weekend, and I'm so excited. But my biggest goal for this fitness journey that I'm on is might be a weird one. I don't know. Tell me if you're out there and you have a similar goal. My goal is to be able to put on my engagement ring again because my engagement ring does not fit anymore. And so once I can put it back on, then I'll be happy. Until then, that's what I'm working toward. So I'm steadily working toward that goal. I'm steadily seeing the progress. And so, that's my update for now.
I get it. I have a pair of pants that were like from like high school, and I'm like, I'm gonna fit back in these. And I do plan on fitting back in them, but like it's good to have like a goal of something, right? That like you want to work towards.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like if I give myself a weight goal that I'm trying to work toward, maybe it's not the best way to look at it. And the one thing that I'm really excited about is to be able to wear that engagement ring again. So
That's
that's what we're
great.
doing. And also to be able to climb a wall because I keep talking about it. I am very determined. I really want to. I really want to strengthen up these arms so that I can go rock climbing because I've never actually done it. And watch, I'm gonna get up there and realize I'm actually really scared of heights. I'm actually the last couple of times I've climbed a ladder, I literally started, my hands were sweating. So I don't know if this is even gonna be for me, but hopefully.
A- And you guys are gonna be sorry, I was just sorry. My brain, you said food, and my brain's been on food since you said that, because I'm also dieting, so my brain is now going there. Um, are you watching Super Bowl this weekend?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
I am so excited for Kendrick Lamar. Dr. Dre, yeah, Mary J. Blige, yeah. But Kendrick Lamar, like, I cannot wait. Are you gonna be watching?
Probably not. I'm not a very big Super Bowl person. I'm just not into football, but I guess that's not really the point of watching the Super Bowl anyways. It's the commercials, right? Isn't that crazy though?
Yeah,
The fact that
it
people
is
don't
crazy.
care. They care about commercials. Like the thing that everyone hates, absolutely hates during the whole rest of the year, but this one day everyone's like, "Yeah, commercials." I find that to be interesting.
Okay, so this week we're going to be continuing on our discussion from last week on Valentine's Day. So we are going to be pivoting a little bit and speaking specifically about dating. So I wanted to start off with this thread that I found in the Ask Reddit subreddit, and people are basically detailing the worst date they've ever experienced. So this one story starts like this. This poster goes, I was set up on a blind date when I was in high school with my friend's boyfriend's roommate. My friend failed to mention that the guy she was dating was pushing 30 and his roommate was the same age. I was very uncomfortable about it. After dinner, my friend wanted to go back to their apartment to chill. I tried to ask to be taken home, but she insisted it would be a good time. When we got to their apartment, friend and her boyfriend went to their room to do God knows what, leaving me alone with this creepy older dude. I felt extremely uncomfortable and tried texting my friend to take me home, but she ignored me. Finally, after about an hour, I started petting their cat. I'm very allergic to cats. I then proceeded to rub my eyes until they swelled. This is when I burst into their room to show them my swollen face and insisted I be taken home. And she did right after. We've never spoken since.
Oh my gosh.
So that's pretty horrible.
Yeah, really. I can't even imagine. I don't know how old she is. Oh, you know what? This was 9 years ago. I was about to say, like, I would have called an Uber, but I don't think Uber was like
9 years ago, I don't think that was a thing back then.
yeah. Maybe Uber just started actually. Or maybe,
Maybe.
I think, but I mean, back then, it wasn't as trusted and everything, but yeah, definitely, I would just Ubered home, but definitely at that time, probably would have been harder. That's crazy. Horrible friend.
That's the worst thing. You shouldn't have to give yourself an allergic reaction to get your friend's attention or to get out of an unsafe situation. So that was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I actually had a friend that she was hanging out with this guy at a bar with her other friend, and she didn't want to like stay at like the house, but her friend was like, "Oh no, it should be fine." Totally, completely uncomfortable. She ended up calling her boyfriend to come and pick her up because she was just so uncomfortable. Because she just wanted to like have a good time, and she got really bad vibes. These people like wanted to cook dinner for her, and she was like not touching any of the food because she felt so uncomfortable. Because like it just seemed weird. Oh, they had told her that like it was gonna be somewhere close by, like the place, and then they drove her like 30 minutes away, her and her friend.
Oh,
So it was just like bad vibes. So I that's what I this reminds me of, that like bad vibes type of story.
Yeah, I think listening to your feelings or listening to your gut is so important.
Always important.
Okay, so I have another one of these bad dates. Okay, so this one says, first date, I take her to a movie. That's what she wanted to do. Then we went out to eat at an Italian restaurant. During the meal, I feel my stomach start bubbling. Her friend calls her and says she locked her keys inside and needed her to come let her in. Her apartment was a good 30-minute drive. So we leave. My stomach is making some noises and I'm feeling it. Halfway through the drive, it hits me. I'm about to crap my pants. So I'm speeding to her house with the windows down and the radio cranked. Oh my gosh, I can't. I'm going to pull this one.
I feel so
So she
bad.
can't smell or hear my involuntary farts. Finally, we pull up to her apartment. I ask if I can use her restroom, which she replies with, "Of course." We walk, because what else is she gonna say, right? Like
Yeah.
what's about to happen?
Oh my gosh.
We walk up to her apartment door and it's open. A large group of her friends are there. It turns out that it was a surprise birthday party for her. Without wasting any time, I make haste for the bathroom. The bathroom is rather small with an accordion door and located
Oh my
with an accordion
gosh.
door located right across from her bedroom. But I cannot help. I sit down on the toilet and unleash the wrath of God on this toilet. I could not have been quiet no matter how hard I tried. I'm in there for a good 10 minutes. I finish, flush, and wash my hands. Walk out to her and three of her friends standing there with the most disgusted looks on their faces. So I just said, gotta go. I left, and that turned out to be our first and last date.
I feel so bad, but I wouldn't have been disgusted. I would have been like, "Are you okay? Did like something horrible
Yeah.
happen?" Oh my gosh, that's absolutely horrible and mortifying.
I hope this is something that they can laugh about now because that was such a long time ago and I feel like that would traumatize anybody.
100%. You know, this reminds me of a different story from Reddit. I don't remember the exact post, but this girl ended up eating dinner with this guy, and then he like said, "Okay, I need to go use the bathroom," and he locked the door, and then she ended up pooping her pants. And then she was like, "I'm so sorry." And it turned out like he had put something in her food, like laxatives in her food, because he liked poop and he like wanted
Ew.
poop. I don't know why I thought of that story. This reminded me of that.
He wanted poop. Like, was he gonna do something with it? Was he gonna
I can't
collect it
recall.
and save it for
I don't
later?
know why, but I could be totally wrong, but I feel like he like covered himself in poo or something in the story, but I could be wrong. It just feels like it was that type of a story. I'm sorry. I have really weird stories I can think of when I hear these types of posts. Sorry.
Bring him on. I love it. I love story time. That is disgusting. All right, so we have one more. It's not about poop, thank the Lord, but it is still a worst date story. So OP goes. So this person says, not exactly a date, but freshman year of high school, a girl I had a huge crush on agreed to go to winter ball with me. Basically, semi formal dance in winter. We walk inside. She immediately ditches me and even tells me she only went with me for the free ticket. They were like $35 each. And proceeds to start making out with a random senior she'd never met from a neighboring school who came as someone else's date. Joke's on her, though. All of her friends realized what a jerk she was, and I got slow dances with all six of them. Big thing for a nerdy freshman, especially since most of them were hotter than her and way out of my league because they felt so bad for me. I hung out with them throughout the night and never regret what happened. Worst experience at first, but the night ended very well. I love
That's
that.
awesome. Yeah.
I
I can't even imagine.
love
That's so annoying.
that would be the worst. Imagine showing up and having that happen to you. That's horrible. Okay. Well, I guess I'll end this with honestly, I haven't had a lot of dating experience. I feel like you know this, Maddie. I've been with Justin for for a very, very large part of my life. But I guess I would say my worst date was a situation. I'll just call it a situation. I basically had a crush on this dude. He was slightly older, and I had been crushing on him for a very long time. He asked me to come hang out with him. And so I immediately was like, all right, got fully dressed, popped the curls, did a whole thing, and went over to his friend's house to go hang out with him. Turns out I get to the friend's house and I was actually being set up with a friend, and he
One of
had
his
another
friends.
girl, one of his friends, and he
No.
had a girl there that he was actively pursuing. And so it 100% was not a date with him. It was the worst
That
experience at the time.
sucks. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
It was the worst. I know there's worse, but honestly, at the moment, at the time, I was like, this is the worst thing ever. Okay, so let's get into it. This week, we are going to be exploring the dating world in through Am I the A-hole posts. So we're going to be reading a bunch of stories that are just talking about dating mishaps and things of that nature. So you ready for the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the a-hole for being ungrateful about an extravagant date? I'm a guy in my early 30s. I had a horrible breakup at the end of last year, and lately I've been trying going out on a few dates. I was talking to someone online. He's a bit older, mid to late 40s. To put it politely, we're very obviously from different socioeconomic groups. He's pretty fancy, impressive career, educated, cultured. Meanwhile, I'm a chavvy little scumbag with no GCSEs who pulls pints for a living. I was a bit wary because I couldn't see how we had much in common, but he was persistent and I figured I could at least give him a chance. He was very keen to plan the date and have it be a surprise. I wasn't crazy about that. It seemed like we'd have very different tastes. There are also a lot of standard quote unquote date activities that I kind of felt uncomfortable about. I have pretty bad ADHD and I'm guessing he's writing dysgraphia, and I'm self conscious about how clumsy and awkward I am. I really don't like going to places that are super formal or high end, and I have a lot of issues with food. Unless I know someone really well, I just tell them I'm an extremely picky eater, but I have a diagnosis of anorexia linked to past abuse and neglect. I don't like eating, especially around other people, and my diet is very limited. Basically, going to a high end restaurant is my idea of hell. I told him this very clearly. I didn't give him a detailed explanation of the reasons why, but I didn't really think I needed to. Long story short, the surprise date was at an absurdly fancy restaurant. It was a completely alien environment, and I had no idea how to react to any of it. I was stressed out from the second I walked in, and every time I messed something up, I felt like even more of a tit. The guy I was there with kept mentioning how nervous and uncomfortable I was. I said it wasn't the sort of place I was used to. He seemed quite pleased about that, like it was what he was aiming for. The food was insane. There were multiple courses, and you didn't get to choose any of it. There was basically nothing I could handle eating, and I was absolutely mortified. There was no prices listed, but I know it must have been so expensive. He was pushing me to try things and educating me. I did my best, but my best wasn't great. My food aversion tends to be a full on panic vomit situation, which obviously I wasn't risking. The whole thing was miserable and so embarrassing. I was very apologetic, even though I'd been upfront about what I could handle and he'd completely ignored me. I thanked him for the trouble he went to and said it was nice meeting him, but I didn't think we were very compatible. I thought I was just stating the obvious, but he took it badly. The next day, he sent a long message explaining how much effort and expense he went to setting it up and calling me rude and ungrateful. I guess I was kind of ungrateful, but I specifically told him this is the kind of date I definitely would not want. Am I the a hole?
No, not exactly. I don't think he was like what I think happened based on this is that he said, "Oh no, I would never want to date like that," right? But then this other person was just like, "Oh, okay, that's what he's hinting at." Do
Oh,
you know
you
what I
think it was
mean?
lack of communication
I
or like
100%
a
think so.
miscommunication?
Yeah, that's my thought. I could be wrong, but that's what I kind of get because, like, I feel like that's why the other person was just like so excited. and was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
yay." Do you know what I mean? Because they were like, "Oh," they were kind of hinting at it. Now, that is definitely a clear miscommunication because the other guy just thought that it was a hint and like, hey, like, I want to do that. Do you know what I mean? I could be totally wrong,
Mhm.
but that's the kind of vibe I get from it. Um, I do think that OP definitely has every right to be upset because clearly it wasn't listened to, but I don't think that it was like actually a horrible thing, like that he was trying to like not listen or he was like, ignoring his wishes. It was just
Mhm.
bad communication or I guess bad understanding.
I agree with that. Because it seems like OP made it clear uh that he had issues with eating in public, didn't explain why. And so maybe it didn't get through to the date exactly the extent of the issues. And maybe it
Yeah,
was like, oh, brush it off. But I feel like based on what I'm reading, um, I wouldn't consider OP the a-hole, but I have a hard time. Okay, this is my thing. I don't think it was bad of the other person to want to do something nice for OP, but I also don't agree with the way that he reacted when OP said, I'm not into it, we're not compatible, and basically just threw the fact that he spent all this money and he went through all this planning and jumped through all these hoops to make this date happen. That's never okay, right?
100% agree. I feel like that was like, okay, so there was strings attached to our date then. Like there were specific things I
Exactly.
was supposed to do and be grateful for, even though I told you that it was not comfortable for me. And when he realized that he wasn't comfortable, then I don't know, maybe he could have fixed the date by like, scaling things back, being like, you know what, I think that you're not comfortable here. I can tell you're not comfortable. Maybe we should like go somewhere else. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
If it
Yeah,
was like a
because
date
of
for
the
him.
reaction, it feels like it was more of an ego trip where
Yeah.
he wanted to kind of flash what he was capable of pulling off.
And he
And it wasn't so
mansplained.
much about OP. He mansplained. How would you say?
When he was educating about the food.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he just wanted us. Oh, he wanted to create a situation where he had the upper hand and he knew this person was of meager means. And, like, I don't like that at all. I agree with OP. Clearly, they weren't compatible, but um, you should be able to accept that and move on with your life. Don't put the other person down because they didn't feel it.
I 100% agree. I just think that the date was trying to like do something amazing and thought that gosh, I'm gonna look like such an amazing person because I think that he thought that OP was hinting at that, but that's why communication is so important in any like relationship, even if you're just dating or talking, because things can be taken different ways. So it's always important to have like clear communication.
If you were in the same situation, how would you communicate to the other person that you're without, because obviously he felt uncomfortable giving them the total details of what was going on. How would you explain it?
Hmm. I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm a picky eater. I don't eat, but I probably would have been like, but I will not eat specific things. I would have been like, I think I would have been a bit more serious about that. Or I would have been like, I'm okay, if I really, really like for sure wanted to make it clear, I would have been like, I have so many allergies. I would have just lied probably and been like, I'm
Yeah.
allergic to so many things that I can't go out to restaurants. If you have like this bad of an issue, I would probably just say that. I'd be like, I have to
Mhm.
have food specially made for me, or like I have to eat at home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. Sometimes you just gotta, I mean, and this is the thing, you don't want to say like, oh, you have to lie. And maybe he was holding back a little bit because he's trying to put his best foot forward and he doesn't want to seem like this picky person when because in reality it's not that he's picky per se. He just has trauma related to food. So um maybe he's
I
just trying to
oh
seem a
sorry.
little bit more he just trying to make it not that big of a deal, you know?
I agree, but and I don't. I also agree that's not good to lie. But in this type of situation, if you're recovering from something like that,
You
I
gotta
don't know.
just
I
be
feel like it's
upfront
okay.
or
Yeah,
or just like make up something that's gonna completely clear you, you know?
yeah, but you have to be very, very clear about that because obviously he probably, or I feel like maybe he's like, oh, I'm a picky eater, so he's like, okay, he's a picky eater, so he'll like all this fancy food then. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he just likes
Mm-hmm.
fancier stuff. So like I just feel like yeah, definitely communication should have been a lot more clear. Not that it's OP's fault because I think that he made it clear he didn't want to do something like that anyways. But I'm just saying to make it like a
Like
hundred
he
percent
specifically
clear.
said, I don't want to go to a high-end restaurant.
Yeah.
And that's
Ugh.
literally what he like. I feel like that's just the date completely disregarding what he wants and just
Yeah.
doing what's gonna make this date happy. So
So for sure not the a-hole. Communication could have been a little clearer, but I think that based on everything you had already said, it's hard. The only other thing would have been an allergy, just to say an allergy, but you already said you didn't want to go to the restaurant, you're a picky eater, not much else you could do besides allergy.
agreed. It looks like that one of the top posts here, one of the top comments says, not the a-hole. Sounds like he was on a power trip, to be honest. Someone else says,
Definitely.
definite power trip and a clear sign he won't respect future boundaries. I think that's I think that's the big one right there, right? Is everything it's so funny because I feel like with dating, everything is kind of I don't want to say a test, but it's like it's a peek into this person, right? You're learning about someone else. And this is just like clearly if this is the first impression that they're trying to make on you and they completely disregard the things that you say are important to you, and yeah, I think it's best that they went their separate ways.
Okay, I see this comment. I like this one. It says, I always
Yeah.
refuse to do anything but meet for coffee or something super low key like that as a first date. Might be something to consider. Surprises can come later.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
What did you and Justin do as a first date, if you don't mind telling us? I don't know.
Our first date was we went to a movie. We went to go see Pineapple Express. I still remember. And we were so awkward. Literally, our elbow. I didn't. Like I've said before, I didn't have a lot of dating experience before Justin. I actually had no dating experience before Justin. We're sitting in the theater, and I think he was fully expecting me to make a move or to give him a sign that I wanted him to make a move. And just the fact that we were touching elbows, I like. I was like, my stomach was doing backflips.
I remember the first time like I was at a movie theater and I was touching elbows with someone too, and I was just like, is this
Oh
okay?
my
Is this
gosh, it's
okay? Oh my
happening! It's
gosh. I
happening.
know. I totally get that.
Yeah, that was
That's
our first date. And
adorable.
then after that, we went to go because he was supposed to drive me home, but we kind of wanted to hang out a little bit longer and we're trying to figure out what to do. It was kind of late. So we were like, okay, let's go to McDonald's drive through. And then we just drove around the valley trying to find a McDonald's that was open. And apparently they had it wasn't even that late. I think it was like 11 o'clock, but they just were all closed. And so he eventually just drove me home.
That's why you go to Jack in the Box. They're always open.
Yeah, see, they're open all night, right? They're open
Pretty
super
much.
late. Speaking of restaurants, our next story is also restaurant related. You ready?
Yeah.
Am I the a-hole for ditching my date at the restaurant? Before anyone thinks this is fake, let me assure you, I wish this was. I am in shock. 26 male, just recently went on a date with a 25 to 28-year-old female last Tuesday. We met at the gym. I've had a crush on her for a while and finally struck up a convo and asked her out. I booked us a nice Korean restaurant that has Korean barbecue stations. So we sit at the bar and have a pleasant chat for a few minutes, and then they tell us our table's ready. Then we go to our table, and it's got a huge grill with a fire on it, and she instantly asks what this is. How does anyone not know what Korean barbecue is? But I brushed it off and explained to her, and she was like, but why do we have to do all the work? LOL. Yes, she said LOL unironically. Isn't that their job? I explained to her that's what's fun about it, but we could always order off of the a la carte menu if she didn't want a barbecue. But she said, just make them do it for us, and insisted on calling the waitress over and asking her to put the meat on the grill and demanded to be served after it was ready. This elderly Korean lady had to shuffle between busy tables and come and flip the meat and serve our plates. But wait, it gets worse. So at this point, I'm super embarrassed and seeing red flags like crazy. I'm Indian, so I'm kind of used to the whole servant master attitude thing because it's big in India, but I'm not a fan of it. And I thought it was super weird here in the States. But I wanted to see the date to the end. And yes, shamelessly enough, I was hoping for some adult time. At the end of the meal, she asked for dessert. I agree and asked to see the menu. The waitress comes over and gives the menu and hands it to her. She then waits for her to leave and says, my God, this place is a nightmare. All these useless immigrants, she's white, come into the country and don't even work and eat up our tax dollars. Are they even legal?
Oh my
And she said it
gosh.
loudly enough that a nearby table of brown people in their 20s started giving her dirty looks and whispering to each other. She notices this and goes, same goes for these insert racist word for people of Pakistan. At this point, my jaw dropped. I'm Indian, and she used this in front of me. She saw my expression and went, oh no, I don't mean Latinos. They're fine. I love Mexican food. No,
Oh
she
my
didn't.
gosh.
So it seems that she thinks I was Latino. My birth country never really came up as I speak with an American accent, and she uses a racist word against my own countrymen in front of me. So we get dessert. I get up to use the bathroom, pay off the bill with a good tip, and walk out the door. I left her there. I drove us and went back and blocked her number. Now I'm even thinking of switching gyms, but I'm just gonna go in the morning. I don't know what I will say if we ever meet again. Am I the a-hole for ditching my date without transport at the restaurant?
Nope, not at all.
Absolutely not.
I'm
I'm
impressed.
seething.
I'm impressed that that's all you did. I would have blown up on her. Good job for just being a gentleman. That was appropriate. But I mean, honestly, if you had blown up at her, I would have been like, good job. So I don't think that was appropriate at all.
That's completely unacceptable. And I'm just completely shocked at the turn that this story took. I'm sorry, Maddie. I'm just sitting here like, what did I just read?
I'm just thinking, I can't imagine being like, oh no, it's okay. I like Mexican food, so we're good.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what? Oh
Literally
my
the
God.
receiving. That's
Cannot.
horrible. I'm not the kind of person that blows up, but if I experience this on a date, I would probably just get up and walk away. I would just leave. I would just leave at that point.
I just can't even imagine being like, we don't have to do it, have them do it for us. Like I would have just been like, no, that's not how it works here. But I get it. You're on a first date. You're trying to make a good impression. You're like, ha ha ha. But like, I don't know. You know what? I actually hadn't been to a Korean barbecue place until I was like 13. So I remember the first time I went, I was so excited. I was like, this is so cool. We get to do cook our own food. This is like the coolest thing. So I'm really surprised.
You know what? I'm like so angry at this person that I'm also thinking that she knew what Korean barbecue was and was just trying to be evil to the waitress because that's crazy.
I can't even imagine. It just not appropriate at all. Like, yeah.
Okay, there's an edit. Are you ready to hear the edit?
Yes, please.
Okay, so apparently this post blew up and he wanted to address some points. First, it was funny to me she didn't know what Korean barbecue was, considering I knew it because I've never seen it in my country and she lived here her whole life. The city has Korean restaurants since the 90s. Number two, I couldn't be stuck in the car for 20 minutes with someone who thinks my people are trash. Oh, I'm guessing people were probably giving him a hard time for not taking her home, which I'm surprised.
She should
I'm
have walked
surprised to hear
home.
that. Yeah, literally owes her nothing at that point. Do you want me to read some of the comments before I finish reading this edit?
No, no, read, finish, read that it. We need to know the information.
Okay. Okay. Number three, I wasn't going to sleep with her after I actually got to know her. I didn't know she was this bad until the end. I initially just thought she had a strong opinion on self-service at restaurants. Interesting. So everyone's like, oh, clearly she's a jerk, being mean to this waitress, and you still want to sleep with her. All right, number four. I'm not going to tell you what the word was. Oh, people were asking about what the
The word
word
was.
was. Yeah.
It's just interesting the entitlement some people have. It's very interesting.
Yeah. I wonder what state this was in. I don't think it matters because and obviously they're racist everywhere, but I do wonder where. I just I just want to know. But I
I
also don't want to know anything more about this story.
Yeah, let's move on
It's
to a better
sad.
story. That one was like very angering and not cool. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be thinking about this story because I'm so annoyed about it. Like so rude, so inappropriate. I just am wondering about her family, like who taught her these values. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, true. Our next story or our next post is also about a first date. So here goes. Am I the a-hole for accepting a free drink from a stranger while on a first date? I have no idea if I'm in the wrong here. So I was texting back and forth with a guy for about a week that I met at a football game. We had seats next to each other, struck up a conversation, and exchanged numbers. Seemed pretty normal in text and definitely looking for a relationship. I was honest, I was up in the air for anything. Not that I didn't want a relationship, but I'm not actively seeking one. So, boom, he invites me out to dinner at a nice bar, and I was going with my friends later that night. So, I figured it would be a cool pregame before I met up with my friends. Things are going pretty okay, and we just grabbed some wings to share and charcuterie board along with the bottle of wine. When the waitress comes back, she has all the appetizers, the wine, and a shot. My date tells her we didn't order the shot, and she points over to a guy sitting at the bar and says, he sent that over for me. My date then tells the waitress that we didn't need it and that he appreciated the offer, though. I'm not one to waste free alcohol, and I tell her that's fine. She can leave it. I was sitting facing the bar, and just as the waitress leaves, I'm grabbing the shot, and the guy who sent me the drink turns around and gives me an across the room cheers motion with his drink. I do the same, and I'm about to take the shot. My date is like, are you really going to accept a drink from another guy while we're on a date? I tell him it's just a drink and it's not a huge deal, and I don't even know the guy. Then I take the shot and try to keep talking. He's not eating and barely interacting with me. Then he just gets up and heads over to the bar. He goes up there, closes out the bill, and walks out the door, totally leaving me there. I tried to text him the next day, and he basically said I disregarded his feelings and that I was a bit of an a hole the way I brushed off what he was saying, and taking that shot was like a slap in the face. I really don't think I'm in the wrong. I didn't flirt with the guy, and he wasn't an ex. I don't even know the bar stranger. If my date didn't make a huge deal about it, we could have enjoyed the rest of the night. So, am I the a hole?
I don't think so. No.
You don't think
N-
she's an a-hole?
No, not at all. It's just a drink, not a big deal. When I was up in college, my friend was in a relationship and guys would offer her drinks and her boyfriend would just be like, "Sweet, I don't have to pay for it." I don't think
But
it's a
they
big deal.
okay, I think I disagree here
Really?
because in this situation that you're talking about, the guy made it clear, the boyfriend made it clear that he was okay with it. In the story or in OP's post, she's saying that he obviously wasn't cool with it. He mentioned it. He's like, we're good. We don't need it. And she was like, no, I'll have it.
But I don't see that to be a big deal. Like it's just a drink. She didn't go over and say thank you. She didn't go talk to the guy at all. It was just a drink. Like I don't find that to be a big deal.
Isn't sending a drink over to somebody kind of like a flirt?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the person thinks that she's pretty or like is interested, but it's not like she actually did anything. They both like did a cheers, and that was the end of it. She wasn't gonna like go talk to him. I don't know. I don't
But
find that to be a big deal.
how does the date know that? Maybe he's like, oh, she's trying to keep her options open in case this doesn't work out.
It's a first date. I'm assuming he's not thinking, oh my God, I'm going to marry this girl right away. Normally, I know that it says in the beginning that looking for a relationship, but it's the first date. It's not that, like, obviously, at least I don't take it as like a flirt. I think take it as like, a, oh, okay, cool. It's just alcohol, not that big a deal. Um, I don't know, maybe because where I was up in school, I don't find that to be a big deal because it just does not seem like a big deal. I feel like that was just a general like people gave shots to each other, not a big deal.
I didn't experience that. When I was in school, if I went to a bar and someone bought you a drink, it's because they were trying to make the moves on you. And so I feel so old saying the moves.
You are old.
I know, but I just like I heard myself and I'm like, oh snap. Um yeah, it feels like, well, at least in my experience, if someone offered me a drink and I'm like, sure, it's like see, I know there shouldn't be any strings attached, but it seems like it's like you're saying, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think I'm trying to understand for myself if I were on a first date with somebody and a girl was flirting with my date and offered him a drink and he was like, cool. It had a whole interaction with her. Cheers. I'm like, you're right now, you're taking your attention away from me to have this little interaction with that person over there. What is happening? Why aren't you here? Why aren't you focused on here? Like, stay focused. That's where
I
I'm thinking.
guess that makes sense. Like, I guess I would be annoyed if there was a situation where I'm on a date and that happened. Um, I guess that does make sense. Maybe it just really is that she had a boyfriend that was cool with it. So I just assume that's fine in any situation. Because I would be annoyed. Now that you say, like, when you said that, made me think about it. I would not be very happy. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a first date. Like, we're just getting to know each other. I get it. Like, it's not that big a deal. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, it
Maybe
sounded
I'm
like
just
they
a
had
chiller
been
girl.
lightly texted, right? It
Yeah, but
sounds like
maybe
they
I'm just
had
a
been
chiller
lightly
person.
texting. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. Um,
So
but
yeah, people, So, oops, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off every 2 seconds.
no, it's okay. I was just gonna say, yeah, for the same reason, I can't imagine that I'd be super stoked about that. I feel like if something happened like that to Justin, being married to him, it would mean nothing. I'd be like, take it, drink it. You know, I'd probably cheers to the girl too. But I'm not on a first date with him. I'm not like super excited to get to, like to see where this is gonna go. Like I know like we're good. I'm not like insecure about it. So maybe me coming from a place where I know I'd probably be insecure on a first date because you're getting to know this person. You're like, you know,
I
you're
guess
like
sorry.
constantly reading them like are they into me or
Yeah.
not, and if this happened I'd be like, oh, clearly he's not into me, he's trying to show me that he has other options and he's entertaining them.
I think what I would do is I would also cheers the girl with my date though, and be like, whatever. I'd be like, hi, I'm here. Do you know what I mean to the girl? Now, would she
Hmm.
care? I have no idea, but I don't know. At least in my head, I'm like, okay, it's just free alcohol. It's really not that big a deal. But maybe I'm just too chill. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I'm just not
I
think it's a
think we
big deal.
found the first thing that we disagree on, Maddie. I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah, like I get it, like the annoying factor, but the more I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, that's really silly to be annoyed about that because clearly they like asked me out on this date. So why am I going to be annoyed by that? It's just free alcohol, in my opinion.
In the situation, do you think that she asked him out or do you think that he asked her out?
I don't think it matters either way.
Really? So if you asked out the person that you're on a date with and that happened, you don't feel like it would matter? You'd be like, oh, they said yes. So clearly they want to be here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, at least for me, I would assume they're interested enough in me that they wanted to come out. So I wouldn't expect, it's not like the person's gonna like, leave. Now, if on the other hand, she had gone and talked to the person, like walked away from me, then I would have done what he did. But just going
Yeah.
like that, I'm just like, I don't care. That's not that big a deal.
Hmm. Okay. All right, you want to hear some comments?
Yes, please.
Okay, so first one has the most upvotes, 14,000. So let's read that one first. It says, "You're the a-hole. The guy at the bar didn't know if you were together or not, so he sent the drink to suss you out. You accept the drink, toast him over your date's shoulder. What do you think was going to happen next? Bar guy was absolutely going to come over to your table eventually and start trying to chat you up in the middle of your date. There was literally no other outcome after you essentially communicated you were open to his advances. You can be cute and say, it isn't 1938. Sorry for the voice. And all you all you want, but social cues and etiquette didn't disappear with the second wave of feminism. You know the implications of your behavior and brushed off your date when he expressed how your actions made him feel. You're the a-hole." Again, in case you didn't get it from the beginning. I
I
think
get
that's
it.
yeah.
Like, I get it, but I really think it probably is just because of my college experience. I don't find it to be a big deal, but you know, I don't know. It's hard. I do get it. I get that, like, it's flirting, but they're just started dating. It's not that big a deal. Like, it's not like she's gonna go make out with him
You
if
know
sh
what? I think where I'm coming from is I know like in the beginning, everything is a big deal. In the beginning, everything feels like you're constantly reading it, right? So I know Justin and I, when we were in college, we used to go to bars a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, I got hit on a lot at these bars. And so it's like you have to do a little like work. Let's say work. Like I think personally, like I tend to sometimes make eye contact with people, and so I know in the past I've been told that I'm like kind of a flirty person, so I would have to try to not do that when I was with him, because I'm like, if I look at someone a little too long, they're going to think that I'm interested, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want some kind of an altercation. I don't want someone coming up to me. I don't want any of that. I don't want free
yeah.
drinks, and if you look at someone and they lock eyes, like if any of that happens, like it can, you know I don't want to say it can lead to something, but like I'd never wanted to lead anybody on, and so that's maybe I am a little bit more old school, where I'm thinking, why would you accept that drink if clearly you had no plans to entertain that? But maybe she did. Maybe
Maybe.
she was planning, like.
Hmm. I get it though. Since you were talking about this, I decided to look up the story so that I could see other people's opinions. Apparently, a lot of people agree that she's the a-hole. Um, I don't know. Okay, I guess I get 100% get it. I get why it's not cool. I get the flirting thing and you're like accepting the invite to the flirty stuff. And that all makes sense. I think just probably where my thing was coming from was my situation, I guess, with my friends was different because they were in a relationship and they were cool with it. Reading these, I do understand that dating is a bit different. And someone in these comments, because as you were like talking a bit, I'm sorry, I had to read this because everyone was saying that she was the a-hole, and I was like, oh my god, I am a horrible person, I guess.
No, you know what it is? I think, like you said, you've had a very, very specific, very different experience in college that, may allows you to see a different side of it. And that's what I love about this. The whole reason we started this, right, was because we wanted to see what things we could connect on and
Agreed
what
and
things we
disagreed.
exactly we wanted to see where we disagree. So yeah. So how do we feel about this then?
Okay, I think this is probably my favorite story we've done so far now because it made me really think about like a lot and like re-examine what I would find good. Because like now, if I'm on a date, I'm for sure not gonna accept a drink from someone because like before I would have been like, oh yeah, that's probably fine because that's how it was with my friends, but that's a different situation compared to a first date. I kind of get that now. Um, but yeah, in the beginning, I was totally like, no, this is totally fine. This guy's way overreacting, but it makes sense. I understand now. So I
Awesome.
guess the person is the a-hole, but I just want to say they may have had a different like experience in their life that made it seem like it was fine. So maybe this person just needs to have this experience to grow and change and realize that that was not cool.
Amen. Okay, one last story we have is also about a date. Um, Online dating seems like it's a crazy thing. So this one's titled, Am I the a-hole for dropping out of a Tinder date after finding out that he had lied about his height? For context, I am 27, a female, and I'm standing at 5'2", and I was wearing short boots, wedges for the first date. Am I the a-hole for dropping out of a Tinder date after finding out that he is actually shorter from what he had told me? I am asking because after talking to my friends, I've been getting mixed responses. Originally, I had met this guy on Tinder, and we've been chatting for quite some time. We would have conversations about random things, and it could go all day long. Casually, the question about height came up, and I told him that I was short at 5'2", and he told me that he was 5'6". I was really excited for this date because, to be honest, I could see a potential even though we had only been chatting through text. Imagine my disappointment when I had arrived for the dinner and movie date to find out that he was, in fact, a bit shorter than me. I was literally standing over him, and I am 5'2", and I'm only wearing short boot wedges. I was kind of freaking out a little bit by the fact that he had lied about his actual height. Height, privates, weight size does not matter to me. I just do not like liars. After leaving the date early, I had a talk to my friends about it, and they said that I should text him and ask him why he needs to lie about his height. Mind you, two of my friends are 5'6", and so I do know what 5'6" is because they would be literally standing over me. Time and again, he would still insist that he is 5'6", even though that is not the case. I eventually just stopped talking to him and just blocked him from everything because I can't stand a liar. And I would have hoped that he would just admit that he lied. A couple of my friends told me that I'm being dramatic about it and that I shouldn't have stopped talking to him, even though he lied about his height. I told them over and over, and it didn't matter about his height. It had mattered when he had continued to lie about it.
Mm, I don't think she's an a-hole because clearly she doesn't care about the height. Like, it's not the biggest deal. Um, I just want to point out though that I learned about this because of all my K dramas I watch and all the K pop stuff I watch. Their lives, they always show random things. Guys now can buy these inserts for their shoes that will make them taller. Did not know about that before. Bunch of K pop guys do it. A lot of them, because not just because they want to be taller. Um, I do think there's a difference between height for women and men. Men tend to round up, while women are actually realistic. But at least he didn't wear one of those fake things in his shoes. I appreciate that at least. But definitely, I don't know. I feel like guys are so specific. I'm 5'11" and 3/4, or I'm 5'10" and 3/4. Like, and we're just like, girls are never that specific. We're just like 5'4", 5'3", 5'2". That's all. You know what I mean?
I'm a little specific. I say 5'7" and no, 5'7" and a half or 5'8" and a half. See, now I don't even remember how tall I am. But I agree. I don't think she's an a-hole for not liking the fact that he lied. Um, I I don't think it's cool to lie. Like I've said it already. And yeah, you can be insecure about your height. That's fine. But even after the fact, I think if he would have fessed up to it and been like, clearly I'm not taller than you. like like he's trying to convince her that she's a different height at this point. If he keeps saying he's 5'6" and he's shorter than her, like he's trying to tell her, no, you're actually five, you know what I mean? Like,
You're actually
and
four
I
foot two
you know what
inches.
I mean? Or yeah, like he's trying to lie so hard. He's trying to keep up this ruse that clearly has been he's been discovered, and he needs to just own up to it and get past it. Clearly this is very hard for him to admit. And yeah, I think she has every right to never speak to him again.
I agree. If he had just been like, you know what, you're right, could have moved on. 100%. Like,
Exactly.
I
But
don't think
I think because he's lied about this, it makes her wonder now, what else is he lying about, or what else could he lie about in the future? And if he had fessed up about it, there might have been a little bit of hope, like, okay, that's just the point where he's insecure about it. He's not gonna lie about everything. But I don't know. He sounds pretty convinced about something that's obviously not true.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think if he had been honest, been like, you know what, I'm very insecure about it. I have a lot of trouble getting dates because I'm, on the shorter side. Because I know that's an issue for guys that are shorter. Um, and just been like, I apologize. I hope that you're still cool with that. I think she would have been fine. If he had been like that. But obviously, if you're just gonna kind of try to convince someone of a lie, that's not gonna work out, and that's just gonna cause issues. Because like, what else are you gonna like try to convince me I'm wrong about?
This is like the beginning stages of gaslighting, and I don't like anything about it.
But I for sure am very impressed about those height things though. That go inserts for the shoes. I actually do have one because my hips are slightly misaligned. So I have one that's supposed to go in my left shoe, but I never wear it, but I'm supposed to.
Oh, that's interesting. So if you needed to, you could go get custom shoes made, right? One with a taller sole.
I guess they just gave me like this little insert to go into the shoe. But I don't know if that's actually, can you get custom ones? I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Oh,
totally can.
yeah. Well, no, yeah, I've never gotten one, but I do have a little insert for one of my I think I have like a quarter inch or like a half an inch of a difference in my
I have
hips.
a question. Do you think that it would have been better if he goes through his life wearing these inserts and still lies about his height? If he's
Okay.
like in public, I'm that tall.
I think that it's okay. Okay, I don't ever think it's okay to lie about that stuff. Because, okay, this is actually something I saw on TikTok. So someone put that in their shoe. They're like, no, I'm five, whatever, 5'6" or 5'8" or whatever. And then the girl that duetted it was like, okay, you guys can no longer care at all when we wear a bunch of makeup because you guys are clearly lying. Then we're allowed to, wear as much makeup as we want, and you guys can't get mad if we don't look like that. I feel like those are both very similar situations that cause like double standards. Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're gonna lie about your height, just be honest with your significant other. Be like, this I wear inserts. And everyone else thinks I'm 5'6", but you, I will tell
We get to know
you
the
what the
truth.
truth is. Like, yeah, that sucks, man. That really sucks. I
I
can't
hope
imagine
this
showing up to a date and thinking and like realizing this person is like obviously lied about something.
lying. I do
Mhm.
hope that this person like is able to work through this and kind of you know, accept himself, I guess, because I do think that it'll make his life easier and it will make just like him dating easier because I'm sure that he probably will have a lot of issues finding someone if he's going to be lying all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. All right, Maddie, that is our final story.
Yay. Well, I hope you guys liked our stories for this week. I love them. I'm very like still thinking about the shot story. So, I really liked this episode and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun too. Just quickly, everybody, please go follow us on our socials. We are Coffee Plus Mochi, spelled out PLUS, Coffee Plus Mochi, on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere. And we would also ask that you guys like and subscribe to everything that we have to offer. Go to our Instagram bio and click on that link. You can see our YouTube videos. You can follow us on Spotify, on iTunes. Please make sure to rate our channel. Please rate our podcast if you love it, because it's going to help us. And thank you so much for joining us this week. I'm excited next week to bring you guys some more stories. But I think next week, Maddie, you're gonna be bringing us stories, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, since we have been very into fitness, you and I thought that next week would be really fun to talk about fitness stories, about family sabotage and family and friends that are like jealous, after weight loss and stuff, just to, mix it up.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So until next time.
Bye, guys.
I need some coffee.